So, what do you think Jesus looked like? I mean, his physical appearance. The only description in the New Testament is in Revelation where John saw him in heaven. And we'll get to that. The only description in the Bible that actually talks about what he looked like is in Isaiah 53. And this was Isaiah. He was a prophet. And, most of Jesus' life is in Isaiah. Okay, so let's explore. We're reading from Isaiah 53. He grew up before him like a tender shoot, like a root out of dry ground. He had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him. Okay? Nothing in his appearance that we would desire him. He was despised and rejected by mankind, a man of suffering and familiar with pain. Like one whom people hide their faces, he was despised, and we held him in low esteem. Okay? Let's read that again. He had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him. Nothing in his appearance that we should desire him. He was despised and rejected by mankind, a man of suffering and familiar with pain. Like one from whom people hide their faces, he was despised, and we held him in low esteem. And it goes on. Surely he took up our pain and bore our suffering, yet we considered him punished by God, stricken by him and afflicted. He was pierced for our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was on him, and by his wounds we were healed. We like sheep have gone astray, each of us has turned to our own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. And it goes on, which is interesting, but it kind of continues in the previous chapter in 52. Down here, the suffering and glory of the servant, capital S, that's Jesus. Okay. See, my servant will act wisely. He will be raised up, he will be raised and lifted up and highly exalted, just as there were many who were appalled at him. Get that? His appearance was so disfigured beyond that of any human being. His form was marred beyond human likeness. That's after and during when he was crucified. He was beat almost to death. Okay? Even before he was hung on the cross. The skin was stripped off of his back. You could probably see his ribs. It was covered with blood. Okay? But that was afterwards. So beforehand, no beauty or majesty that would attract us to him, nothing in his appearance that we should desire him. Despised and rejected by mankind, a man of suffering and familiar with pain, like one from whom people hide their faces. He was despised, and we held him in low esteem. So what did he look like? This is a description. Okay? He didn't look like this. Okay? Most of these paintings were from somebody in the Middle Ages. In the Middle Ages, it was fashionable to have long hair. And they made him beautiful. He wasn't beautiful. Okay? In all honesty, he probably looked something like this. Now, this is a simple, everyday Jewish man, Hebrew, living at the time, olive skin, short hair. There was only one sect back then that had long hair, and that was the Nazarites. And he was not a Nazarite. He was a Nazarene from Nazareth, and they had short hair. Okay? Most men had beards because in Deuteronomy, and they lived by the Old Testament, Deuteronomy said, "Let a man look like a man, and a woman look like a woman." Okay? Men didn't wear pants then. Okay? Everybody wore robes and cloaks. Men and women both. So the men had beards and short hair. Women had long hair. Okay? Very few women had short hair. And if they did have short hair, they were thought to be of ill repute. I'll leave that there. So that's what he looked like. Okay? Very similar. Very simple. And what's interesting, there was a 8-year-old girl a long time ago, probably 10 or 15 years ago now, that had a vision at 8 years old and painted Jesus. And this is what she painted. Okay? You notice the similarities. The first time I saw this, instantly I said, I know him. That's him. The only picture I've ever seen in my 57 years as a Christian where I looked at a picture and said, I know him. Okay? That's what he looked like. Nothing special. Pass him on the street. Hide your face. Now, what would he look like today? If he came today, okay? He'd probably look like this. Okay? Simple worker. Remember, he spent most of his life as a carpenter, working in construction, building things. You know, didn't start his ministry till he was in his 30s. And he would probably look like this. You walk him down the street, you would avoid this guy. You would, you don't want to talk to him. But what was special about him? He had knowledge, ultimate wisdom and knowledge. You wouldn't notice him until he spoke. And when he started speaking, he spoke with such authority that everybody, Pharisees, teachers, simple people, rich people, poor people, would listen to him. Listen to every word he said. Because he had amazing authority. Drew people to him. He worked many miracles. And a lot of people came just to be healed and get the miracles. And a lot of them had faith. So that's what he looked like, maybe. Okay? When you see him. Now, John described him in heaven after what we read in Isaiah, where he was disfigured and marred, and basically his body was torn apart. No bones were broken. That's prophecy. And he saw him in heaven, and this is what John described. This is a depiction of what John described. White hair, white beard, eyes of fire, feet of gold. Okay? With 7 lampstands. Stand for the 7 churches. And that's him in his glory. Like I said, if he came today, he would look like this. Okay? Just a simple guy you would avoid until he starts talking. Yeah. So that's, to me, that's what Jesus looked like. Still, when I look at this picture, and I keep a picture of this on my computer, because when I look at him, I think that's him. I know him personally. Amazing. So that's mine. The whole long hair thing. Okay, men just didn't have long hair back then. They didn't. It wasn't the style, and that was painted in the Middle Ages. 1,000 years after his death, when long hair was very fashionable at that time. And it was believed that the person who first painted that was actually painting a picture of his cousin or brother or something. But he wasn't pretty. Okay? He wasn't pretty. Okay. He had no beauty or majesty. I'll go back over here. He had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him. Nothing in his appearance that we would desire him. He was despised and rejected by mankind, a man of suffering and familiar with pain, like one whom people hide their faces. Okay? Kind of like this today. Okay? So, keep that in mind. Okay? One day we'll see him, and we'll probably see the one in glory. We won't see that person that was despised. But, yeah. What did he look like? Now you can get a pretty good idea. Have a good day.